The second option is that we can use a ducking system that's built into the PA router already. The PA router is the master of knowing when it's sending an announcement out to each of these zones, right? That's what it does. You don't need to second guess about whether someone's taking a pause in their breath while they're giving a live page when the PA router knows that it's still issuing a live page. So the PA router is actually a little bit cleaner in knowing specifically what it is sending to those zones and whether or not it's time to duck something out of those zones. We do that by exposing its BGM pins. So in the properties, I've got a BGM input count. I can choose, in this case, to add 5 possible background music sources to flow through the PA router. Now, the way this is intended to be background music. It's intended for you to be able to have, a couple maybe different types of audio players or streaming music services that come into your system and can be sent to each of these zones just as ambient music in the background. And then when an announcement is sent to that zone, the background music fades and comes back again. That's what it's intended for. But you could use it for more than background music. You could use it for all of the program material that's in the room. That's what I'm going to use it for. So rather than this priority ducker in the lobby, I could take the output of my compensator and say, this is lobby to PA router. And that goes to BGM 1. And in my conference room, I'm going to say this is conference room to PA router. And that's going to go to BGM 2. BGM 1, we just need to make sure goes and is routed to zone 1. And the BGM 2 gets sent to zone 2. We can do that in one of 2 ways. You could open up the PA router, and once you have BGM inputs, then you've got a new section on the right that is basically a router. Here are all of your BGM inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you need to choose which one goes to each destination. Now, the reason why it's a router like this is because if you're using these as background sources and one of them is like, the jazz music and one of them is the disco music, whatever it is, you can choose and use these like radio stations and pick what you want to go into the room. We're going to use it for a different method in which we are simply going to make sure that we assign the incoming room to the outgoing zone. So zone 1 gets BGM 1. Zone 2 gets BGM 2. 3, 4, and 5. That way, we've created a one-to-one association of each of these input pins to each of those output pins. There's an easier way to do it. Instead of doing that manually, you could look at a property of the PA router that is called BGM input per zone. And I'm going to just put that to yes. When you put that to yes, it automatically creates one BGM pin for each of the zones you've already created, and it automatically associates those with each other. There is no longer a routing option in here. Instead, there's just a gain control for that BGM. So that's what I want to do. BGM input per zone is turned on, and now I have just automatically routed and taken my lobby path, flowing it through the PA router, and then back again to the outputs of that room. I'll reconnect my outputs, and we are done. We're done. Because now the PA router knows what to do when it's sending an announcement in that area, right? It knows that it's sending a page or a message, and it will duck it down. You do still have a couple of controls. So you've got in your background music section again, you do have an attack knob, a depth knob, and a release knob. That's for the BGM ducker. Same thing as we saw on the priority ducker. The attack knob tells you how quickly the background music will be ducked down. The depth knob is how far down it will be ducked. And then the release knob is how long it will take to return that back to its normal level after the announcement is complete. We don't need a hold control because, again, we're not waiting for any pauses anymore. The PA router knows when the message is done because it has completed its action. That is option 2. And maybe that's the right choice for you. In this case, some people might not like it because now when I look at my lobby signal path, all of a sudden my lobby signal path breaks and then goes to the PA router and comes back again. If these are on different pages, you might have a hard time keeping track of things. By the way, I still need to update my reference in the room, so my lobby output would now be my reference in that room. Same thing in the conference room. Now it looks like the signal path breaks. You may have to track it down. Maybe this is more confusing to some people, but the point is you've got options on how you want to handle it. Whether you are taking the zones to the zone signal paths or bringing the signal paths to the PA router, totally up to you. And you know, it's also worth noting that in a room like this where I've got an HDMI display in the room, I could even send the paging announcements to the display itself. I could override the audio that is on the HDMI that's being sent to that room. You can take an HDMI display and you can enable its audio source to change to its own audio input pins, which means that I could have another priority ducker here that overrides the HDMI and replaces it with the announcements in the room to make sure that even the displays in your room are part of your paging system. And that way you're not listening to the program or the movie or whatever that's playing while the emergency announcement is going. That will help duck down the media content in your room while an announcement is playing as well. So think about that. Sometimes a zone can be more than just loudspeakers. A zone could be literally a TV in the room that you can control the HDMI from. Okay, we're so close. We're so close. Hang on tight there. We've got our messages and our announcements. We've got our UCI that sends anything we want. We've got our commands. We've got our priority system. We've got the queuing system. We've got the ducking system. The only thing I haven't covered yet is what happens when you want to send one page from one core to another core-to-core paging. That's our last step. Let's take a break and we'll look at that.